Professional. Yeah, no, as soon as you get in, I probably should do that because that's where all the juicy stuff happens. But Angus, mate, heavily requested guest, mate. Thank you so much for joining us on the Scene podcast, mate. For those at home listening, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Angus. I have an agency called Refract. I've been running this business for about 2 years now, and yeah, I've been a long time designer. I dropped out of high school to study design and jump headfirst into the industry. And yeah, I've just been building, designing, working with brands around Sydney and like the larger Australia and the US, kind of ever since. So yeah, I landed my first role at 16 at a design agency based in Sydney, where I literally had never opened Figma before until that first role, and landed there on the day, and I was like, oh my God, I am so in over my head. And yeah, like just pretty much just like learnt everything from there and was very fortunate to have some really great mentors along that journey. And about a couple of years later, yeah, started this agency called Refract where we work mainly with like high growth startups and a couple larger enterprises now across like product, branding, and like website and social media. So we're a bit of a full service agency, but we like to just work with like companies which really value design and they wanna grow at a good rate. So yeah.
That's wild, mate. Like dropping out of high school, I'm sure it's, for a lot of people, that's like not a usual thing that people do. How was the chat with your parents and people around you when you were just like,
Well,
hey, I'm just going to drop out of
yeah.
school?
I honestly think my parents were a bit relieved at that point. Like, I think, and I think this is quite common with designers as well. It's like I had pretty bad ADHD throughout high school. Like, I could never sit still. I was always getting like suspended. I was never doing anything like wrong, but I was never doing the right thing. I was always like, drawing or, off just like staring out the window or doing just never really school. But I had this little business which I started when I was like quite young, where I was like selling like bath salts and candles and that kind of thing. And I really loved that. I love doing the packaging. I love the website. I love, the social media, the ads, and I think that's what kind of sparked that passion for design. And yeah, I just thought this is what I want to do, and I dropped out and just did it.
I love that, man, because I feel like learning stuff in school, it's like self-awareness, hey, like knowing how you want to learn and you want to push yourself. Because I feel like when I went to uni, I just sort of ticked off the things that I needed to do, but it was like, man, looking back now, I wish I like was building something and then used uni as like feedback, and so you can actually get like help from mentors or people who've done it before, rather than just go to tick something off the box.
100%, 100%. I think just like learning by doing is such a big thing, and there's so many like stuff, like kind of different aspects of that, which like from when I was doing those websites when I was like 14 when I first started, I still use those skills today. That learning that I had then from doing that, like is immensely valuable.
And like growing up in the social media like era, I feel like when I was growing up, this is going to show my age here, but like this is when MSN and stuff first come out, and I was probably like 13, 14. So we were all just like starting to use the internet a lot more, but and like
Mm,
even just like content that we consumed as kids, like I feel like it was a lot more drawn out and boring compared to these days. Like I see like cartoons and that, like it scene changes every second. So I feel like
yeah.
kids now are wired to have that kind of brain and attention span where it's just like something new, something new, something new. Do you
Yeah.
feel like that's been a bit of an advantage for you in terms of just like growing up on that and then like chasing things?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think like a big thing for me was I think just general access to information was huge. Like if I hadn't a problem, like 99.9% of the time someone's dealt with that. And that's even more like extrapolated with AI now. Like I think if ChatGPT and that kind of like that wasn't around with Refract, like it would be a lot harder to do business. So I
Yeah.
think there's more and more enablers, and I think a lot of people are starting businesses now because of that as well. Like the barrier to entry is so much lower, which I think is a massive net positive.
I feel like fear holds a lot of people back too, fear of the unknown. And like, I think like the best type of entrepreneurs or people who are driven tend to give things a go, even when they're not 100% sure or confident. It's like, yeah, I'll learn and make it happen. How did you develop those skills, or was that kind of natural for you?
Yeah, I think like definitely had to develop it quite a bit. Like for me, I lent towards it. Like I think I was built in a way that I learn best by kind of mucking up in a way. I feel like every time you like fail at something, you do learn an absolute ton. And I think trying to index on those failures, especially when you're younger, is a very good way to grow. I do agree with you. I think a lot of people are scared of failing. I think that's a very kind of Australian thing as well. No one wants to like be the person that, was out there with it and it just didn't work out. But I think like indexing on those failures, that just leads you to a better outcome. You learn something from it and you go again and you do it better. I think, yeah, like whether that was like with that agency that I first started at, where I had never opened Figma before, like I'd say a lot of people would say like, oh my God, like, okay, that's cool that you're there, but that's like, what are you gonna do? And the first couple of projects were not pretty, but I indexed on learning quick and I just put the time in. And I think if you're willing to do that, then you're so fine.
Being so young, like, do you find it sometimes can be an advantage and sometimes be a disadvantage? Like, especially with older people or maybe older clientele, is it sometimes harder to get them across the line, or is it easier because they just sort of trust in
Yeah,
your skill sets?
I think you definitely have to like you can only lean on it, like for us, there's definitely been times where our age as a company, like we've got a very young team in general, like probably has gotten in the way. But I think if you index on the quality of the work and you just show people what you can do and you just like you get in the room with them and do it, then I think it's only going to be an enabler because what they see is they see that you're super hungry. They see that you're like having, at the very beginning, they see that you're just having a crack, For us, like I'd be reaching out and I would just be like, hey, I just want to do this website for you completely for free. Just let me just do this. I'll show you. And if you want to keep working with us in the future, that's great. And I think they're probably a little bit more receptive to giving you a shot. And when you're younger, just use that, and then build up the reputation and the credibility through what you do, And that's yeah, I think that's how you play your age.
I love that. And like storytelling, it's so important these days to, for people to understand like where you come from, what you do and how you do it. Has that been something that you've had to focus on and like
Yeah.
project?
Yeah, I think definitely has been something that's really been important for us. I think that's something that we need to keep doing as well. Like a lot of people will come out and say a lot of stuff and assert their story, but I think where we are learning and where I think a lot of other agencies are as well is that they don't realize that's something that you need to maintain. That's something that you need to keep growing and keep evolving over time and keep like yeah, just like having that there because I think when we were starting, we viewed that as like, all right, for the next couple of months, we're going to do this. This is what we are, and then we left it, And I think where we would have been a lot better today is if we kept at it and we kept growing it.
What about things you're learning at the moment? Like, has there been any hard learning curves that you've had to go through over the last like year or so, where you might have gone into something feeling a certain way and then come out feeling completely different?
Yeah, yeah. I think there's always been like projects as an agency, and I think every agency has this where it just pushes you. Like there's something that doesn't go quite right, exactly how you wanted it to go. Like, a freelance that you work with has had issues, or something on the team. Like, I think building a business is just like an art of just like I said before, like failures and learning from it each and every time. Like, no one has it all figured out when they begin. But as long as you don't repeat that and you learn and you build a bit better business from it, um, I'd say that's really big. Like for us, I think our main thing, like I'm a designer, right? And a lot of agencies, like they are designers that want to do more design, and so they start a design agency, or like any agency. And I think moving that view on myself from like just a person that does this craft to a business owner, and like having to run payroll, having to do like all these other aspects of the business. That's something you really have to learn, especially if you're more that creative type. Like it's a bit of a nightmare, but if you're open to it and you learn from it, then you'll be fine. I'd say that's my biggest learning personally, so far.
it's hard enough to do the job, hey, and then when you add that on top of it, I feel like being a founder is probably the hardest job ever because you've got responsibility, there's always new problems, and the buck stops with you. So the pressure, stress, anxiety, but also the wins. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like good to celebrate those small wins because it's a bloody tough slog. You know, to get something up and moving, it's not as easy as what people think. They see the end result, but they don't really necessarily see all the stuff that's gone into it to make it happen.
And I think a lot of young, especially like I think everyone has this now, but especially like younger founders as well, they expect everything immediately. Like, and I'm always like this. Like I think like, all right, I've got this really awesome plan. I want to implement this. I want to do this way, and it's going to bring so many results. It's going to have all this impact. You know what I mean? And like often it's never like that. There are no shortcuts. But I think where people get mucked up is they stop too early. They think, all right, this is the plan. I'm going to run this up. If it doesn't get results straight away, they quit it. But I think where if people stuck with it just a little bit longer, they just played it out, they just like had a bit more patience, then they will get that outcome that they want. And I think that's something that I've had to learn a lot, like especially with like, you see like, 5-second clips, you see like anything with ChatGPT, you can code up an app in an instant now, but business takes time and you need to grow. And there's no way that you can sort of wait, pretty much.
Expectations are a bit warped, hey. Like it's like we need that instant gratification or those instant wins to show that we're on the right path. But I feel like those little things that sort of, you know, make you think about the direction that you're going in. I feel it's consistency. Hey, it's showing up and like 90% of the time it's fucking tough. So you have to just like grit your teeth and get through. So that like resilience piece as well around just like I don't want to burn myself out, but I need an element of like
Yeah.
resilience, things I need
Yeah,
to push.
you got to be a logical optimist, really. Like you have to know at the end of the tunnel, there's going to be this outcome, but you've got to be patient enough to like kind of go through the dark of it and end up the other side.
What about like selling the vision and being an optimist when things are stressful and hard? That's a different beast in itself, isn't it? Because you don't really want to project any stress and pressure onto others. You need to keep them optimistic and, and energized about what you're doing. But you might be dealing internally with all these different things in the background where you're like, fuck, I need to figure this out. But is that
Yeah,
part of the fun as well?
yeah. Like I think the thing for us, like we've been very lucky, like as a team because it's still a small team. I think we're all about the same age. Like everyone we bring on that journey. Like there's definitely some things where it's like, all right, let's figure out the solution to this and deal with it now and then. Like bring this in. But I always want people in our team to like learn as well. Like I want them to one day be able to like start an agency. And like do that themselves. I want them to learn from what we are going through at the same time. I feel like it would be it'd be negative for us to just like shield them from everything. But I think yeah, like just being optimistic it can be a very difficult thing like at times, but all you need is a little win and you're back in the game. That's agency life.
Yeah. It's champagne and razor blades, hey. And I think like the best agencies and best people who run agencies are the ones who empower their staff. And, like if someone from your company goes on to start something else and it's awesome, like you're there in their site being the first cheerleaders. I feel like a lot of people just like having that control, but the ability to let go and showcase that as a story for new employees coming through, like, yes, like we want you to grow. You know what I mean?
I think the best founders hire people that are like that. Like a lot of founders will turn people away who don't, when they think they might be a bit too aspirational, they might want to leave them to go do something else. But I think the best founders know that's exactly who you want, and that's what you bring them on the journey. And the value exchanges, you will learn everything about running a business and building a business and like all these different things. And while you are here, you will give this your all, and you will work at it extremely hard, and this will be a journey that run together. Yeah, I think that's like my job is finding those people.
And yeah, how do you hire? Like, what are the things you look for? How do you do it? Is it half vibe, half technical? Like, how do you look at, employing?
Yeah, I think finding good designers like it's a bit of an art form in itself. Like for us, like especially a lot of last year, we would host these design jewels where we would like invite like a lot of the designers in Sydney, and we'd have them go and pitch. Like we give them an hour to we send a brief out, we give them an hour to like design something in our office on that brief, and they would get up in front of like 40 people, and they would pitch their work, why it's successful, why it's, like why it's good, and they'd show it like on the projector. And I think that's a big thing with design, is like a lot of people just look for the specific, like, oh, does this look good? Are they using good technique? But another major aspect of it is how you sell your work. And especially with an agency, is like your design could be amazing. It could be the best thing in the world. But if you can't sell it, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing everyone a disservice. And so I always look for designers that can do both, where they've got really good communication skills, but because they can then back up their work. And I think, yeah, that's, if you don't have, you can have one of the, like without the other, but for an agency, you just need both. And so those design tools, that's how we've always done it. Yeah, like you can see a portfolio, but like the best way is just get them on the ground, get them doing some work, and then you make your decision.
And doing like it's cool because your experience knows from firsthand, like rocking up at the job, not knowing Figma, it's like doing hard things actually fast tracks you, and like it's all cool to make mistakes and stuff, but like if you develop all these hard skills, you're going to be that much better off in the long run. Where it's like I look at things now and I'm like, I just want to do the hardest thing first. Like the thing I don't understand, I want to knock that off first, so then I don't feel anxious about going into work or any of these things. It's like no, and especially when you first start, it's like you've got that freedom and ability to fail a bit more, like the tolerance to be like, yeah, of course, like whatever, as long as I see like initiative, hey, where it's like I can see that you're trying, like you're willing to stick with those people, hey.
Yeah, and those, like that's been our main thing with those design tools, was like if you have the courage to go up in front of 40 people and pitch your work, and like everyone see it, it might not be amazing, but actually the act of being comfortable getting up and showing that, and being willing to have that failure, that's like 75-80% of what we look for in our people. And so yeah, I think like if I wasn't up for that, then that first agency that hired me, like they just looked at my portfolio. I did not have a portfolio. I just had a couple bits of work, which I was like, this is me, but I'm really willing to learn, and I'm pretty confident I can communicate this in a good way. Like if I couldn't do that, then yeah.
What about like scaling? Are there any like frameworks or things like tools, processes that have made your life easier?
Yeah, yeah. I think for us, like really giving our team a lot of accountability has been a massive thing. Like there's no there's no like free lunch really with our team. Like I think the best designers can sit with a client, understand their problems, and work with them quite autonomously. Like that requires a lot of trust with our team, but I think enabling them to do that, to take action, to back themselves with our clients has been a big enabler. Like we don't really have a massive hierarchy within our business. Like I think that's been big. Um, Outside of that, like we're using a lot of like AI to really automate a lot of things. Like last year, we love them to death, but we had a couple like project managers on our team, and they left for other reasons. But a big thing that they told us when they left was like, you actually you don't really need a project manager. You don't need someone to do this. All they were doing was like, briefing up like the team on projects and managing like schedules and all that kind of stuff. And so we built a lot of like what they would do internally, just the bits that we need, like with our clients. So a client would come on, everything's automated, there's the team is briefed up, time tracking, all that kind of stuff is all taken care of. And that lets us run a much leaner ship and put our capital into better talent, like better freelancers, better designers, all that kind of stuff, which makes our business better. And so I've really tried to keep that side of the business really lean, so that we can, put our money where our mouth is, really on the value side. And I think a lot of agencies are doing that now, moving more into that kind of setup.
And what about like tech stack and stuff? Do you just allow people to just use whatever they're comfortable with, or is there particular programs and things that you want them to use to ensure like the same quality?
Yeah, so the past 6 months has been really big, like everyone on our team has really been learning like Claude Code and like Codex and that kind of stuff. We've had like engineers come and work with us and like kind of teach the team, especially the product designers, how to ship their design directly to code. I think like the best designers now are the ones like that go directly to code and can leverage this like massive tool. Even like our graphic designers, like when we do a brand now, like we don't just do like an out like a static brand. We do like a system, which lets them, you give this system to a client and it will generate assets. It will do all these different things. And I think moving into that point of leverage where our main mandate is we build this product out, this output, and it's something that you, the client, can take and scale with yourself. And so you don't need to engage us for social media posts, for instance. We'll build you a custom thing which lets you pump out social media posts exactly how we would do it. And I think a lot of agencies and designers, when they start moving more into that like systems thinking, it's huge. Like I think a lot of designers are scared about like AI and where everything is going. Like it's like I've seen it so much, but like everything that you touch now can like move into code. Like think about that. Like designers are the ones that actually, come up with these things to begin with. They've got this inherent creativity. Now you've got no blockers. Everything that you think of can be done. And if you just enable yourself to do that and like move into that mindset, then you're away. It's fantastic.
I love that because I feel like we used to see art and design as this like thing that you see on a piece of paper or a canvas or whatever, and that's the thing. But now translating those skills into systems where it's like that's an art form in itself. So I feel like the best people who can do that are going to have the most success. Hey, where it's like set this up for you, all the tools, just
Yeah,
rock and roll.
it's insane. I'm so excited for designers. Like it's nuts. Like I I think a lot of designers are a bit scared of AI, and like I completely understand that. Um but I think they need to be willing to give it a go, to try it, to like, to fail with it. But then like learn it and you'll be unstoppable.
Do you reckon it too? It's like learning to let go of control as well, because I feel like with a graphic or a design, you're like, yeah, I've done that. This is what it is. Like I'm proud of that. Where if you give people systems, they might use it in different ways that you might not, but that's okay because at the end of the day, they're the clients and it's what they want.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I think even more so is like your identity, like as a designer, like especially if you're like a graphic designer, if you've got a graphic designer, you've got a product designer. Before you had a UX designer and a UI designer, you have all these different like designers, and they become quite attached to that identity. Like this is me, this is what I do. If you try and like tell me how I should do this thing, like I don't hear a bar of it, like they I think and this is so designers, like there's definitely a little bit of ego, and I get it, but I think if you just put that ego to the side and you like just view yourself as like I'm a designer, I have this, my skill is I've got this creativity, I can like think of something that's completely original, and whatever medium that is doesn't matter. Like it could be like code, it could be something static. It's like your value is separate and you just use the tools that you have at hand. Then I think that those are the designs that are going to win. Not the ones that like I'm a good designer because I know Adobe Illustrator way better than everyone else. I can do all these cool techniques. Like that won't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of businesses are catching up now to be like, yeah, we're enabling our teams to build on these systems that were created by designers? Are you seeing it more and more now, like the fast moving companies, the ones that are on the cutting edge are just like, we're
Massively.
doing this for the team now and just get this done and we'll pump it out. Because I feel like we're in that growth phase, hey, where I feel like half the people are catching up and learning, where the other half are like doing the stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think especially like the companies that we work with, like these like high growth startups, like they they want something which lets them move faster, but at that same quality that they would originally get. And I think their expectations are definitely more towards that. Like we're moving into a world where there is so much information out there. There's competitors and you can literally like go out and put up like hundreds of like UGC ads in like an instant, like everything is moving so much faster. You need to the only way for these brands to scale really is to move more into a system kind of like process. If you're just engaging like an agency to pump out like 10 posts a week, like it's not going to work. But that's also very, very like that's very good for the agencies that catch on to it. But it's hard. Like the agency as a whole needs to just kind of change their business, move away from that ego as well.
I feel like you have to be like pretty loose with the vision, hey, because things can just change. Like you can't control the future, and it's just like if things move in a certain way, you need to probably have that flexibility to go down a different path. Like I've seen a lot of full service agencies now, like scrambling, thinking like,
Yeah.
what can I do? You know what I mean? Like, what is the opportunity? But like you said, like with all disruption and change, there are opportunities, and it's just getting uncomfortable. Hey, like I feel like when you do something for so long, it's probably harder to change it
Yeah.
up. You know, like if
Yeah.
you've been doing stuff for 10 years and it's been working, why would I change? But I feel like being proactive in in those thoughts will actually hold you in good stead. Hey, because it's like everyone says what isn't broke, don't fix it, but you might be too late by the time, or you're on
Yeah.
that last wave where it's like you're playing catch up the whole time.
100%. I've spoken with so many agencies about it. Like I've kind of pointed it. It's like an intercom moment for agencies right now where you do have to like burn the boats a bit and reevaluate your identity. Like I think the best design agencies like Design Studio, like early last year, like completely changing their brand. This completely established design agency just ditching everything they have done to become Further, which is the agency they've got now. Like the ones that are catching on, they're catching on that it's biting, but a lot of agencies aren't willing to burn the boats, and so it's a bit of a very painful, slow death. um, but yeah, like I think this is happening for massive orgs. Like I've spoken with like these big like thousands of employees, like even they're doing it. They're reevaluating from first principles down to like the smallest studios like Refract.
How do you like showcase systems? Like portfolio is easy. You can just show all the work and you've got all those like, things
Yeah.
that you can see. How do you show off systematic work? Like what's the process in that?
Yeah, I think this is like something that we're figuring out now is like how do I say it? Like I think one easy one is I mean I don't know like look, this is where I get caught up. Like for us, because we're a product agency, it's pretty straightforward to just treat it like it's a bit of product work. Where we have our team like bring it in, like code it up and put it like, it's still like an asset ultimately. But there are some agencies, and this is something we're experimenting with too, is like something that you do for one client, like you can build out more proprietary like systems just for everyone from that as well. And so what we're bringing into just our website, for instance, is like just little micro SaaS tools which you can just sign up for, and we almost use it like it's like a lead gen for our agency where we built this tool. We'll post this tool up. You can like just give it a try, see if it's useful for you, and we just keep doing that. And you can kind of use it like it's a bit of a marketing asset in itself. Like we've started exploring more like other channels outside of LinkedIn as well, like X. And X just loves that stuff, and there's a very, very like specific kind of client that you can get from there by posting this type of thing. Um, but yeah, I think you kind of just have to dress for the job that you want, and you just have to put it up and you'll attract the right clients.
What about like momentum? It's such a big thing. You work so hard to get something off the ground and then things are flying. Have you ever experienced like burnout or stages where you're pushing so hard and you're like, I don't know how sustainable this is and I need to put in some boundaries?
Yeah, they're massively, massively. I think like last year we're on a massive run. And like we're still, I think like more 2026, our focus has been on more sustainability within our business. Like I think a very common agency founder, like I wouldn't say mistake, I'd say learning is like just expecting everything to go the way you think it's going to go, like consistently, and not really thinking about the sustainability side. So, building out more like just like general systems. Like we always thought like let's just get in as many clients as we can, do great work, and we'll continue to grow. But for us, like our focus this year has been like let's keep those clients around, let's keep the quality high, let's keep like, bringing systems to track like NPS, and like proper client onboarding so that we can like up our capacity without needing to hire more people, and like that kind of thing, which as a first time founder, you definitely don't really think of, you just think, all right, more clients, like, let's keep growing, this will be good. Um, but yeah, I think the beauty of that for us now is like we have the tooling to actually like really think about this for ourselves in a way which works with our brain. And so that's what we've been focusing on this year.
I love that, man. What do you do to chill out? Like when you're not building businesses and doing this, is there something that you turn to like get some more energy back in your life?
Yeah, I think going to New York for the past couple months, I realized how much I like nature.
Yeah.
And so I've really been indexing on the old bushwalk. Going out in the harbor has been really good for me. Since I've been back the past couple days. Yeah, I'm waiting for GTA 6 to come out soon, which I'm keen for. Get back on the games a little bit, but that's a bit of a deadly mix.
It's it's
But
hard
yeah,
though, isn't it, mate? Because you get the wins and stuff, and like you get energized by the business, but I feel like sometimes like, you can just hit the fog, hey, where it's just like, oh my God, like I spent all my
yeah.
energy thinking about this thing, you know?
100%. And I think the past 12 months for like refract and I think yeah, especially for myself was like you get addicted to the dopamine and it's like a drug. Like all you think about is business, but I think for me what I found in the past like couple months has been it's probably it's probably like not that you ultimately you're a designer, like you're creative, like it's not conducive of just working 24/7 is not conducive of like original ideas and like being able to consistently show up for the business. Like to be optimistic you have to just like not be doing it 100% of the time, and that's hard when it's like this addicting feedback loop. And so yeah, you have to kind of just like give yourself a little bit of a breathing room. And I think it makes you better at business. It makes your like your brain a lot clearer. Makes you like make much better, like less emotional decisions. Um, and yeah, that's been the hardest thing to be honest.
Yeah, like zooming out, like they say, like the best ideas come in the shower or when you're watching something else, or it's just nothing related to what you're doing. Because I feel like, yeah, you're so in the weeds of things and you know everything about every little thing of the business. Like to get perspective, sometimes it is good to put those boundaries in place where you're like, look, I'm not thinking about this shit. I'm thinking about something else and I'll probably have some notes because something will pop into my head.
Yeah, massively, massively. I think if you want to like grow the business long term, you have to adopt that mindset. Really, like you can't. There's just no way. Like you can do it for a year and a bit, but like you need to find that balance. Otherwise you're just gonna wreck yourself.
Yeah. And the trade-offs are real. Hey, like speaking to people who have built so many successful businesses and that, like a lot of them are wrecked and tired and, probably don't spend as much time with family as they'd want to, but, they're building the business and everything's humming. So it's like, the chicken or the egg, you can't really, it's hard to have both. And I feel like balance is pretty hard to do. But I suppose having light at the end of the tunnel on both things. Hey, you don't want to be hanging out doing nothing all the time, but you need that space, I suppose, in your life to
Yeah,
carve.
100%, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
What about like inspirations, mate? Are there people that you look up to um, in the business world or just in life in general that have like helped you and helped the way you think?
Yeah, I think I've always tried to get inspiration from like the people around me. Like I think even just people on our team, like everyone has a different perspective and a different way of like approaching an issue or doing something. And I think trying to like understand their thought process and their view has been really big for me to just expand my mindset and how I do things. I think when we hire people, just trying to index on that unique perspective has always been really big for us. I'd also say honestly, like learning from our clients, like the best agencies, and especially why I started Refract as well was I want to learn as much as I possibly can from other founders. I want to learn what they're doing. I want to be on the field with them, and I think a big opportunity which agencies have is they get exposure to so many different businesses and so many different industries and like different experiments, which has really helped me. You know, like I've learned all these things, and especially if you're an agency, you don't really get much downside from it. You know, like these ultimately your clients, like they're on that journey. They might take a certain risk, and you're there to see it, and you can absorb that and learn from it. And I think that's so big. That's been so helpful for us.
Things that you wouldn't even think of, hey, that you might do something in one industry and then it's like, wow, that would actually work here if like no one's really thought about it, but I've seen it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, massively, massively.
All right, we like to end the podcast with fast five. So literally first thoughts to these five questions. They're real hard hitting, mate. So I don't know how you go, but strap yourself in. First one, what's your coffee order?
Oh, I like in summer I like an iced latte, and in winter it's a bit basic, it's just a flat white.
We love a flat white, mate. All good. What about your death row meal?
Death row meal. Oh, probably grilled salmon with 2 minute noodles, like the noodles from the 2 minute noodles with some soy sauce and coleslaw.
Mate, that sounds way too healthy for me. I like it though. I like it. What about your favorite TV show or movie?
Uh, uh, Favorite TV show. I mean, movie. I love Star Wars. I can't go wrong with Star Wars. I love June. June is insane. Part three comes out in I think November at IMAX. Definitely got to be good. I recommend to everyone. Favorite TV show though. I mean, I like Naruto and like the animes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. Beautiful. What about your favorite song at the moment?
Um, Probably Bodies by Offset. I like I like that. That's good gym soundtrack. I'm trying to get back into the gym, bit more balance.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it, mate? When you work in the brain a lot, like I think you neglect your physical fitness sometimes. I know I
Oh,
do.
massively,
Yeah,
massively. Yeah, like past 12 months has definitely been that, but we're back.
I love it, mate. I love it. Beast mode. And last one, biggest pet peeve. What annoys you the most?
Uh, right now I'd say Claude Claude token limit is really annoying.
Yeah,
Fable 5, them taking that out of the mix has been really frustrating. We were doing some really cool stuff with that. I think like probably just like not that much accountability. I think like people being accountable for their actions and being willing to muck up and learn from it. I think that's if they're not doing that, it's definitely been frustrating for me in the past. So
mate,
yeah.
Angus. I've bloody loved this chat, man. I feel like we got to definitely get you on for round two again soon. But wishing you nothing but the best, mate. We'll put all the stuff in the show notes, and yeah, absolutely love this chat, mate. And thanks for sharing your wisdom.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. We'll chat soon.